Claudio. I'm a city urban designer. We do not have a chair or a vice chair right now, so we will have to vote to see who will be stepping up to be a chair today.
So you guys will need to pick, what? Yeah, you guys are gonna need to nominate somebody to run the meeting.
I'm happy to nominate Brian as our interim chair.
Thanks.
We got a second,
Yeah,
Second.
accept.
and then vote?
All in favor, say aye.
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 There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Let's make it official.
And we have 5 members, okay.
Are we ready with the TV? Okay. Call to order the Downtown Action Committee meeting of April 10th, 2024. Can I get a roll call, please?
Brian Chagas,
Present.
Brad McPherson,
Present.
Samuel Grace. Present. Michael Bass,
Present.
Brian Laura.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we get we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you. Okay. Can we have item 2, approval of the minutes from the February 14th, 2024 DAC meeting? Anyone have any questions, adjustments, anything to say, or can we get a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Seconded.
Motion seconded. Can we get all in favor? Please indicate by aye.
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 Motion passes. Item 3, report from the city urban designer. Claudia, are you going to talk to us?
Hi. Claudio, I'm a city urban designer. I have 3 updates for you. First, I would like to welcome Dr. Brian Lauren as our board member here in the Downtown Action Committee. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored and excited to be joining the Downtown Action Committee. A little bit about myself. I live and work in West Palm Beach for over 5 years. I have a doctorate of architecture from the University of Hawaii and over 12 years of experience in architecture and historic preservation from a local firm, REG Architects. I look forward to helping shape West Palm Beach in a sustainable growth, pedestrian, and bike-friendly way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And just letting you know that we have a full board. We have 9 members on the board. The other update that I would like to give you is that city staff is working on a request for proposals to bring a consultant on board and do an update on the downtown master plan. This was last done in 2007, 2008, and due to the many changes that the city has gone through, now we are going to bring someone to work on what can be changed in the downtown master plan regulations. There is no release date yet. We're planning to have that done, that RFP done by May, but we will definitely bring more updates on that. And last, this is just that the city planning division is gonna have a developers outreach meeting on April 24 at 9 a.m. in the commission chambers here too, if you would like to join. That is April 24, and that is it.
Great, thank you so much, Claudia. Remarks from the chairperson? I have no remarks, except for welcome Michael Babs. I wasn't here last meeting, so I didn't have a chance to welcome him on the board, and things are changing over quickly on this board, so it's an exciting time. Item 5, declaration of ex parte communications. Does anyone have anything they want to declare in terms of the upcoming case that we have? Seeing none, moving on. Item 6, public hearing. Can we get a swearing in of the speakers?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
There are no continued cases. Item C, new cases, DAC case number 2401, variance 24030007. And with that, is the applicant here to request their variance?
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. I'm here on behalf of the First Church of Christ Scientist in request for a variance for the mechanical equipment and the perimeter fence screening the mechanical equipment.
And who are you?
My name is Richard Kronsage. I represent Yellowfin Builders, the general contractor on site.
Wonderful.
The first image in our very basic PowerPoint is the mechanical variance elevation detail. Just gives you a brief view of what the mechanical equipment's going to look like, set at the base elevation. The structure underneath of it is pretty much just the pad to bring it up to base elevation. And obviously you have the 3 different elevations showing from the north side of the building, the west side of the building, and the east side. The next image, which I think is going to be hard for everybody to see unless I can zoom it in, is the overview of the variance request. And essentially, what we're requesting is for the encroachment into the easement, which is going to be predominantly for the maintenance, the service area, and the fence and the perimeter hedging. So the only part of the equipment that'll actually encroach the maintenance area is the western chiller on the northwest corner of the chiller. It's going to encroach approximately 11 inches. And then everything else is, so the dark lines that you see to the north on the top side of the equipment is for service. We will need 39 inches of clearance for the service. And then you will have your fencing, which we are requesting to extend from the 6-foot permitted to a 12-foot 6 elevation, predominantly to ensure safety, being that the equipment, the top of the equipment is going to be at 12-foot 6. We will immediately screen the 12-foot 6 fencing with a portocarpus hedging, which is in conjunction to Related's landscaping plan. The request from West Palm for the fence to have a vinyl coating and a top rail will be obviously abided to. And let's go to the next one. This is just a hardscape plan showing the location. The location of the mechanical equipment is actually in the existing location of where the mechanical equipment has been for decades. The rest of it is just showing the hardscaping, sidewalks, areas surrounding. This is the landscape overview. The yellow highlighted area shows you the perimeter portocarpus hedging. Again, that will be at 12-foot 6 to completely screen the equipment and the fencing. That just gives you basic parameters of the equipment, showing the width being 113 inches by 88 inches and the total height, not including obviously your pad elevation, which is set to be 5 foot off the ground per BFE. That's just the variance request in writing that we submitted, which basically states what I just stated. We're requesting to have the mechanical area encroach, and the second variance is for the fencing to go from the permitted 6 foot to the 12-foot 6. Any questions?
All right, members of the board, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I have a question. The elevation, is that the true elevation that you have proposed? Because it looks like it's not 12.6 in the elevation. It looks like it would be more like 6 feet, if you look at the elevation with the building, the facade,
This
that,
picture here?
yeah, that elevation, wouldn't it be higher? Wouldn't it be almost at the mid of that window?
No, sorry.
It
No,
wouldn't?
that is an actual demonstration.
That's the true elevation?
Yeah, that's true elevation, actually, to the point of where it falls on the stone itself.
There's a photo of the screening as is now, the existing. Can you pull that up? I think there's a photo.
I don't have that in
'Cause
this
that was in
PowerPoint,
the-
but
I think
Mr.
staff
Kimberly
might,
has it.
I think staff might have it as part of his
Okay, because
presentation.
in that photo, it looks around that height.
So the,
And that's at 6, that's the existing.
yeah, so the
so-
existing pad was only at 30 inches, and then the equipment,
And the screening was at
10 foot.
existing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's probably where the discrepancy was.
Yeah, so
Okay.
now we have to raise the elevation of the.
Another 2 feet,
Correct.
6 inches.
So everything
Okay.
goes up roughly.
Okay,
2 feet.
all right, understood.
Does, if no one has any more questions, we'll have staff give their presentation so we can maybe show some pictures. Thanks, Brian.
Good morning, everyone. Chris Kimberly, Urban Design Planner. This is for DAC Case 2401, the 2 variance requests you just heard. Again, this is a variance from Section 94-135, Table 4-69 for the minimum interior setback, and a variance request from Section 94-109 for the maximum height of a fence on the interior setback. These are the standards of compliance for variances. So with the applicant's proposal, the requirements within the OBD 5 district is that on a side interior, your minimum setback is 10 feet or whatever is required for the National Fire Protection Association there. The building itself does meet this setback. The issue is with the mechanical equipment and the structure itself. We do allow encroachment up to 4 feet into a setback. However, this equipment with its width and the structure itself exceeds that, and it also encroaches into the neighboring related property. So here's the image showing where that overlap is. The church and related have agreed on the maintenance easement between the 2 properties. So this is resolved through that. They'll have access to that equipment. The second variance there is just exceeding the dimensional constraint for fences when located in a side setback. The maximum height within the DMP is 6 feet. However, due to the other code provisions, which actually requires mechanical equipment to be fully screened, this is kind of a conflict in the code. So they are asking for the additional 6 feet, 6 inches of fence to screen that. Again, you can see here the fence would be equal to the height of the equipment, which meets our DMP requirements for screening mechanical equipment. The existing conditions today, prior to this equipment changing in its elevation and due to the changes in the actual property lines due to the replat of the 2 properties, the equipment was in this location previously. Now it might encroach a little bit more into the property line due to the replatting. And again, the elevation changes slightly there by 2 feet from the existing. Staff does support the variance requests as it does comply with all these variance standards. We recognize that the site constraints that with the historic landmark church and the shift in the property lines, this equipment can't really be located anywhere else on the structure itself. So it makes the most sense to have it in its existing location. And an easement has been recorded for this between the 2 parties that are impacted. And again, due to the base flood code requirements and the equipment rising in elevation, we're supportive of screening this equipment. Staff is proposing 1 condition of approval, just that the fence that's surrounding the equipment is screened with hedges, in this case podocarpus, and the fence shall be vinyl coated with a top rail. Mailers were sent out to all property owners within 500 feet of the project site. And staff has prepared a suggested motion of approval with the condition, if there are any other questions.
Members of the board, any questions of staff? you want to follow up with your question on the height, Brian?
No, I understand what's happening now. It's
Yeah.
just 2 feet,
I
6
think the scale of
inches.
the building, and you could tell you go up 4 or 5 steps up the front of the building, and all of a sudden, those windows, those large windows,
Mhm.
they're much higher than we would naturally think that they would be, but it's an old building, and it's quite
Mhm.
lovely. Anyone else? No? Seeing none? Do you want to open it up for the public? Does anyone, if the public have any questions or comments on this application? Seeing none? Bring it back to the board for final deliberation. The only question I had, Chris, and does anyone else have any other questions? Because I have a few that I wanted to maybe put on the record. This equipment is going to update their, their air conditioning, their chiller service for that historic structure. Is this, were there any other alternatives? Could they do more chillers and smaller to keep the height down, or is this the most efficient way?
I believe this is the most efficient way in terms of the actual site itself and in relation to the related one Flagler development adjacent to it. If the chillers were located anywhere else, so on this, it's hard to see here, but on this back lot line surrounding the one Flagler development, it would also be encroaching. They would still have to be making this request for the variances. And this would be facing some of the open retail spaces on the backside of one Flagler. And then on the other frontages, it would be more visible from the street.
Right.
So this would be the most optimal location. It's behind
Oh, yeah, no,
a
I
large.
don't have a problem with it. Like, go put it back where it was, makes sense, and
Yeah.
it doesn't interrupt a lot of things. I just didn't know if they had other options to maybe go with more chillers, smaller units that might be able to be pressed against and have less sort of interaction between the related parcel and theirs, but I get it, and this works, and it solves the problem. With that, anyone, can we get a motion? Whoever provides the motion has to read out the entire thing. It's not me. Normally, it's me. Give me a motion.
Yeah, sure. Motion to approve Downtown Action Committee variance requests included in DAC case number 24-01 as follows. A variance request from section 94-135, table 4-69 regarding the provision in which the minimum side interior setback is required to be 10 feet or whatever is deemed necessary by National Fire Protection Association. The applicant's proposal exceeds the dimensional constraint by having the mechanical equipment encroach into the setback wholly and into the neighboring 180 Lakeview Avenue property. Specifically, the variance requested allows a side interior setback of 0 feet. Number 2, a variance request from section 94-109 regarding the provision in which the maximum height for fences along rear or side interior setbacks to be 6 feet. The applicant's proposal exceeds the dimensional constraint by having the mechanical equipment screened by a 12-foot, 6-inch high fence. Specifically, the variance requested allows an additional 6-foot, 6-inch of fence height, totaling 12 feet, 6 inches.
There's more.
Second.
Okay.
No, not quite there.
Sorry about that.
In addition, this variance approval is made conditional upon the restrictions, stipulations, and/or safeguards listed in the Planning Division staff report dated April 10th, 2024, that I move are necessary to ensure compliance with the purpose and intent of the zoning code and consistent with the downtown master plan and the comprehensive plan of the city of West Palm Beach. The following condition is recommended for approval of both of the variance requests. Proposed chain link fence enclosing the equipment shall be fully screened with hedges, and the fence shall be vinyl coated with a top rail included. This motion is based upon testimony presented along with the application submitted, which constitutes competent, substantial evidence that the standards in section 94-38D6 have been met.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second. I
Seconded.
guess the only thing I would change is make sure we make it clear it's a podocarpus hedge.
It was
So that's
podocarpus,
on the
as
record.
noted, yes.
And I second.
Seconded. All those in favor? Can we get a,
Aye.
Aye.
all those opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. for the variance request. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's it for new cases. D, code revision cases. Anything, Claudia, for us? Nope. Administrative appeals. Nope. Seeing none. We're getting to 7, unfinished business. Nada. New business. Nada. Other business. Nada. Move to adjourn this meeting. So adjourned.